How's it, guys? And welcome to Getting to Grips, brought to you by Godox SA and Golden Power Batteries. So this week we're actually going to do a bit of fun in studio. Last week was very business orientated sort of photography. So we're actually going to have fun mixing flash, consistent lighting, creating nice pastel colors on backgrounds, and also the whole disco ball shoot and everything. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be color and lots of light. We have Talia on the streamer again, so any comments, any questions, just put them through. She'll be monitoring those. And we have a model in for today's show, which is Jean-Marie. So if you want to come up here, Jean, and say hello to everybody. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with the one shoot that actually has been a lot of questions asked around, which is the disco ball shoot. Now I'm going to do each and every setup. We're going to do 3 setups, and do each and every setup we're going to do from scratch. So every light placement, everything, so you guys can actually see exactly how I did this. All right. So let me introduce you to some of the gear. Okay. I don't know if we can see this one on camera here. Yeah, I think we can. Okay, so this is the VL300. So this is the consistent lighting that we're going to be using. So we got the projection unit on here, the SA17 with the SAP unit. So we have got the flaming blades. Framing blades, we'll get that one right, which we're going to then just project that as the key light onto Jean-Marie, and obviously we'll get the disco ball out and see how this actually creates a beautiful effect in the actual shot. So, Jean, if you just want to step right up to the background there, you can. All right. So, I'm going to make sure that this one gets plugged in this time. All right. And we've got that. Cool. So we're just going to position this height. This light is quite heavy, especially with the projection unit. Also tell your model not to look directly into this because it will be blinding. I think we got this on about 100%. All right. So the framing blades that we've actually added there, we've just got a shape. Maybe I could actually go onto camera 2 and you'll be able to see the shape in the back there. We've just put the blades in just to create some sort of shape. The disco ball will obviously be hit with the light, and then that will create a nice effect. All right. Here's your friend, Jean. Okay, so I think maybe on camera, yeah, maybe I'll move out the way here. So you can actually see with the light actually hitting, it actually gives you all these nice little dots of light, which is actually quite cool. It gives a nice effect. I'm going to take a shot with just this one light, and then we'll add in the color just to show you how I did that. Okay, so if we can just move that ball around. It's just, and also an interesting thing about these disco balls is if you actually move it around, it gives you different patterning and different shapes. So let me just get this over here. Just going to position this one better. And I do have quite a heavy duty stand with this on because this light is actually quite heavy. Okay. All right, now just move it around a little bit, Sean, just so we can get, because we've sort of missing that corner, so that's it. All right, so let me take a shot with this. So those that need to know my camera settings, I'm going to start off at about 160 ISO, 100 on my shutter speed, and basically, I think it's about 2.5 on the aperture. I'm going to just start there just to see what it actually gives me. Okay, just move a little bit more over. I just want to get back a little bit. Just want to get your shoulder in and just angle your shoulder. Remember the angle. That's that. Cool. All right. And I think we need to get more light in there. Okay. All right. It's just with any projection, it's all about placement of these lights coming up. So you can see on the screen there, we've got that sort of effect. I'm going to actually bring up the ISO a little bit to 200, just so you can see. Just tilt your arm back a little bit. That's it. Keep it there. Okay, so there you might be able to see a little bit more of the patterning that actually happens there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Jean to sort of tilt and balance between the light, but I think we've got the consistent light set up fine. Let me go and get one of the 8300s that I'm going to be using. Okay, so with the 8300, I'm actually going to point this right up at the ceiling. So I'm not going to point it at the background, because on this shot I don't want any hot spots or any areas there that it's going to be brighter than the other. So we just want the light to actually fall onto the background, into the shadows. So the gels are only going to light where the shadows really are, and that's perfect. Keep it there. Let me just turn the trigger on. Okay. So now we should have our blue. Now we're just bouncing this blue straight off the top of the ceiling, and you can see how much is just filling in on those dark areas. So I'm going to do a couple of shots with the blue. So if you can angle the other way, so you bring that side up, that's cool. Let me just move back a bit. Just move slightly the ball back to the, that's it. Okay. So now we want to add a bit more color in. So we get another 8300 Pro. Let me just put this down here for now. And I'm actually going to put a red one in there. So let me just change that. So I'm going to throw some red light in on the other side. Any questions so far? I'm also going to point this up at the ceiling, just out the way of everything there. All right. Any questions? How's it, everybody? Right. That's perfect. Keep it there. I suppose it does help if we switch the red light on. One thing about the 8300s, you have to switch them on. All right, cool. So let's just do a, yep, we've got there. Okay, so let's move your body to the angle of the light here. If it's one other thing I'm going to do. If you're using this projection unit, get yourself a cloth or a piece or some gloves and actually just turn the actual projection, because this thing gets hot on LEDs. Very, very hot on the LEDs. I'm just going to drop this light a bit. Just want to get a top shoulder in. Cool. All right. We're all still fine there. And let me actually bring the ISO back down to 100. or maybe around 125, just to get a bit more darker color in there. Cool. Bring your head towards the actual ball. That's cool. Just turn your head sort of more towards me. I'm going to see if I can get a flare, but I don't think I can. Okay. So you're adding your color to the actual. Now I've got these. I need to get my glasses on this. I'm just going to tell you the settings that I've got the flash set at. And let me come to this camera here, Tanya. Okay, so my 180-300 is sitting at 132 power because I think the red is a lot thinner than the actual blue, so I've basically got that a bit stronger. And then my blue is actually sitting at 164. So your strobes are actually quite low powered, and even on some of the other setups we're going to do, I even drop it down to 256 on the actual power to get a nice certain soft effect as well. So that is using the 8300 on there. Any questions? I'm going to just take a couple of more angled shots here. And then I'll also pull out the blades and we'll do a circle look as well. Let me just put the blades. And as I said, working with these projection units on an LED light. We're going to be, which camera are we on, Talia? I'm number 3 at the top, or number 2. Okay. All right, I'm just going to pull these blades out. These things are extremely hot. Okay, now we've got some real nice round stage light. Just gonna soften the focus a little bit, and then we'll just gonna angle down. The main thing is to get that light actually onto the disco wall so it can create those nice reflections. And if you see, if Jean-Marie actually turns around, I don't know if you can see on camera, you can actually see that they actually change and give you different shapes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is actually turn off the 2 colored lights. So I'm going to turn off B and C, which I've got those 2 set up on. And I'm just going to take, just with the key light, consistent light, which you can see there over the back. I think if you get the other camera where you can see some of the lights, some of the background, I think it'll be this back camera, camera 2. Okay, give me a look, and I think give me a shape, and then put your arm up onto the outside.
We have a question.
Okay. Far away.
Okay, so the question is from Damien. He says, have you worked with the AK-R21 projector attachment? How would prediction differ using a strobe versus using a continuous source?
The AK is actually for the round-headed, so like your V1s, your other flashes. Putting this, which camera are you on? Okay, so putting an LED, you can't really fit that onto one of the AK. It's mainly for your flashes or your 8100s, your V1s, your flashes, to project almost like an image or colored image onto the back, where we're projecting lighting shapes. So we're sort of playing around with how can we shape different things onto a background, projecting circles, squares, gobos. We have, I'm going to just get a couple of these up. So we have these type of things that we put in just to shape the light. So it's not like a projection as like a sort of a projector that you would project an image onto the back. It's projecting light shapes. So that's what this is doing. And the AK, I think the AK21 is actually more for projecting imagery and stuff on there. You can do shapes, but this is mainly for light itself. And this is the SA17 and the SAP unit. Is that fine? Although I need to play with, oh, are you okay? These things happen on live. The model likes to take a dive through the background. But yeah, I need to actually probably play around with the AK just to actually see what it actually does and what we can create with that, because it can be quite psychedelic imagery on that as well. Are you okay?
I'm okay. It's heavy.
Is the ball heavy? Okay, I'm just gonna throw some color in here. All these are on. Cool. Any other questions? But did I answer? Okay, so I'm gonna throw some color in on this one, because I think we've only done black and white. Okay, get more into the center of the light there. Come over a little bit. That's cool. Okay, I'm just going to take. And no, I actually move it around a little bit as well. So I'm just going to try and get the. Is the image is coming through? Tethering likes to go for a ball of nonsense when you're in live. It never happens when you're actually shooting on your own. Only happens, tethering only goes south when you're trying to connect your camera. Is it connecting? I'm going to pull out, push back in. Not picking up.
Okay. In the meantime, while we're figuring that out, there is another question.
Okay.
When I get the mouse to come back on. Okay. So.
What was the other question?
Right. The other question was from Jacques. Hi, I joined a bit late. What camera settings are you using to avoid motion blur with slow shutter and noise in your photos?
Well, I'm not getting really a lot of noise. I'm shooting at like between 160 and 200s on the ISO. And I'm actually shooting at 125 on the shutter. So it's not really a slow shutter, but I do have my aperture sitting at f2.5. So I've got it quite wide open. I'm using the 50mm Canon lens, the STM one. And so it's a fast lens, and I'm shooting at a decent shutter speed at 125. So, and the 200, you won't see any noise at 200 ISO, even at 400 on the 60. Is my camera connected now? Is that okay? Is that answered? Cool. I'm going to take a shot now. I'm going to take quite a tight one here, just to make sure everything's fine. Any other questions there? I'm just going to sharpen the circle up at the back here. Okay, so with this projection unit, it has like 2 thumb screws that you can actually do your focusing and shaping. And as I said, if you're going to use this on leads, make sure you put some gloves on, because this thing gets hot. So I'm just going to move it back a little bit. Let's go back on the lens and try and get it a bit sharper. You can also get an iris. It's almost like the gobo holder, which you can actually slot into your projection unit, and you can actually just turn the handle and actually open and close the iris, also to give you your circle effect. So in this, I've got no gobo. This is straight from the actual projection. So it's quite a nice big circle. If I do move it closer, the circle gets smaller. Make the circle bigger, as they say. So we can actually so that is the stuff that, so that's how we shot the stuff for the disco ball. Is there anything else before we move on to another setup? Everyone happy?
I think so.
Cool. Let's do a couple of more shots. Give me a real dance pose. I'm just going to get further back. Cool. I'm just going to move. And then also, as I said before, just move your angles around. Just look ahead there. And you can see in the shadows the way the gels actually just blend in with the shadows. Remember, everything that is in shadow, your flashes are going to actually color. So that's cool. All right. Any questions before I move on to another setup? I'm just going to put the camera down there and put my glasses. Okay, so what's wrong? No, give you the glasses so I don't drop them. Sorry, my stream director is giving me orders. So what I'm going to do also is I'm going to take the ball away from it. I see this thing is heavy for Jean-Marie. Well, maybe use it again later. All right, so, and then I'm also going to just move that out of your eyes. Okay, so the other one that we've done is where we've actually created almost like a soft pastel-y type background, where I've done that with same type of thing, flash. So I've bounced the light actually from the ceiling onto the backdrop, but also what I've done is I've pointed the lights towards the backdrop to create a sort of a gradient hotspot. And it actually looks quite cool, because then it looks like you got 4 colors with 2 lights, which is actually quite a nice effect. So I'm going to go and set that one up. Do you want to quickly go and maybe change? So we're going to get Jean to actually change into her next outfit. Well, let me just move this out the way. Okay. So I'm going to set up, I'm going to leave the 8300s in place here. I'm going to use the consistent light also to project shape onto the background, as well as then using another 8400 Pro with a 1200 octabox. So let me just go and set that up. Let me bring this back. Okay, so we're going to put a gobo Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one shall I use? I think I'm going to just use this one. So I'm just going to come in on this camera, Tony, and just show what. So this is your gobo holder. So you put it in, and then this actually just screws down. Put it on there carefully so you don't thread it, and you just screw down. And a thing to remember, obviously it won't matter with this one, because whether it's upside down, it'll be the same shape. But whenever you put your gobo in, the bottom is the top and the top is the bottom. So it will actually reverses around on the projection. So let me put this one in. Take this cloth. Just going to turn this round. These leads are something to be. It does have a little step that you can put in. All right, so you can actually see that it's quite a strong shape. It's actually in the back there. I just want to get my gloves. And I'm going to adjust the focusing on this. All right. I'm just going to defocus it slightly. And then we can turn the gobo if we want to actually give it a bit of character. Right. Just going to position this in play. Okay, Jean, just in time. All right, so I'm going to speak at this camera. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually have Jean-Marie come right up. Stop. I'm going to basically position this octobox. Okay, we're going to be looking at this camera. She's changed it. So I'm going to position this octobox so it actually feathers across Jean-Marie. So we just bring in some nice soft light. So we don't actually put too much of this light actually onto the background. And then we'll actually see what we come up with. It should give us some nice pastel color, but who knows? This is live. All right, cool. So we got that. All right. So here we go for our test shot. Just want to make sure I've got enough light on Jean-Marie. We got some. So you can see there by including, is it coming up? It's not focused. Why is it? Oh, there you go. So you can actually see there on the actual image, the background lights are now softer. So obviously with this light source, it spreads wider and therefore softens the light in the background and just gives us a nice effect there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with projection light. Oop. This cable is giving me, just position this a little bit different. Bring it further back. I just don't want to have. All right, let's get a shot. So what we're doing now is we've actually managed to use consistent lighting to project onto the background, use flash on the background. Just put me on this other camera here, on camera 4. So we managed to have consistent light mixed with flash to actually use a background. So you can, if you're a photographer and you're thinking, oh, consistent lighting, I don't really want to try it. You can try it slowly, step into it slowly, mix flash and consistent lighting. You can get some real good creative type imagery out of it. So I'm going to put a different color on this, because this is the type of stuff I love to play around in studio with. So I'm just going to take a gel. I can't wait for the new ones to come in, because then I can just use a nice little front attachment. All right, so we're just going to add some more color in now. So we're going to add in a red. I'm going to leave this at 100. Yeah, that's cool. I just want to make sure your shadow is not going to be too much in there. And I'm going to see if I can pump this one up a little bit more, because we'll move it closer, because I'm on 100% already. Has my I've lost the camera. Camera 4 we've lost. I'll just okay, so we can just see in the background the shapes. I'm going to change the gobo just now to put some stars there. So it gives nice sort of pastel colors in the background, using a large modifier as a flash, using your consistent light as a background light. I think they're going to sort out the cameras here just now. All right, any questions there? I'll actually work with the other cameras, tell you if there's a problem. Okay, then it's fine. We'll work with another. Yeah, this is, I'm going to then work with camera 2 then, tell you. Yeah, this thing is hot. Let's put in some stars, and then I'm going to take the color off. Any questions there, Tanya, while I'm busy putting this hot gobo back together? When I use this actually on my 8400s, I don't get this problem, because your LED is a constant light source actually on, this thing warms up big time. So if you are using this stuff for consistent light, please wear gloves and read the warning actually on the optical snoot. It says temperature warnings. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the 2 colored ones so we can just get a shot with the main. I think this one is on A. I'm going to just turn off B. The nice thing about the X Pro 2 is you just long press on the button and it actually turns them off, which is cool. Okay. We're coming up there. See, so there you go, consistent lighting and flash working together in harmony. And this is a 300 watt, so this is a VL300, but I'm sure get away with, just turn towards the light there, this one. So now we can get front lighting. Just bring your shoulders a little bit more round. Okay, look at me. All right. So let's bring in, I think this one is B, or C. Let's have a look. Yeah. Let's bring in some color. So with bringing in some color, I'm just going to point, just show you what I'm going to do with the pointing the light. Unfortunately, I don't have that other camera to show from the side now. Just going to point the strobe to the back there, and hopefully I can create that soft gradient instead of a harsh hot spot. Yeah, so we got the brighter gradient at the top of the image coming down to things. So just step a little bit more over towards that light. Okay, I'm just going to get different angle. Now I'm going to throw in, I think that one was D. I think blue was D. I think, yeah. Trying to remember all these groups. No, where's my blue? Probably turned on the wrong one. Maybe it's B for blue. There you go. So we're getting, so the blue is actually bouncing off the ceiling. I'm going to actually move it just now to give us a bit of a stronger blue in the actual background. You gotta love these 8300s. They are absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's take that shot. We're both now pointing into the background. Any questions there? Just move over slightly. Okay. So there you go, nice, soft, merge light camera beyond. Just move me onto this camera here. So we got nice, soft pastel sort of background using flash, and these are sitting on 164 power, so they're not actually strong at all, but it just gives us a nice bit of color into the background to give us something different to play with.
We have a question
from
Sherman.
Okay.
What gels are you using on the 8300s?
Okay, good question. So I'm actually using the ADR14. Let me just go into this camera. The ADR14. Let me just take it off here. Be easier to. So this is the ADR14. Comes in a kit. It actually comes with gels and a little clip-on front for holding your gels in. Sometimes what I do is I actually double up the gel just to make it a little bit stronger. And then it goes on. It also comes with grids as well, which you would have sort of seen in episode 2. But I use these quite a lot in studio on the 8300s. I find them very effective. And they're actually very reasonably priced as well. But you can get all of these at the #1 Godox store, which is www.godox.co.za. All right, so I'm going to do a couple more shots. I'm going to push up the power on B. Give me a bit of a stronger blue. Okay. Okay, that's it. Perfect. Cool. So I'm going to just bring that in. Very cool. All right. Any questions around this one? Nothing. Sure. This is this one is an easy one. Do some projection straight onto the model. So this is always cool with the window shades, which I'm going to put on just now. Just unclip that. Gloves. Even with gloves, guys, this thing is hot. That's why I like using it with my EP4 S1 because it doesn't get hot. Because it's just a quick flash and it's all over and done with. All right, let's get. I think that one, I've done that one. Let me just get the shaped one here. All right. And it's also fun when you're actually using projection to actually have 2 projection units, because then you can really get creative. I love using these in studio. I do a lot with this. It's one of my favorite tools. Oh, there you go. All right. Now don't look right into this thing. I'm going to pull it quite back here and just angle it slightly. Okay. I'm going to turn off all the flashes for now. So I'm actually just going to fire consistent light, not changing any of my camera settings. So even though I'm using flash, and now I'm just using one consistent light, I'm not going to change my settings whatsoever. Just want to make sure I get all of Jean's here into the light. So this always creates a nice hard light. Yes, we will do that just now. I will make mention of. So the last setup we will actually be doing, which will throw in a 5 light setup. And with the 5 light setup, we're going to put lots of color. Let me go into this camera. Which camera are we on? This one up here. So I'm going to put 5 lights set up in the final one, where we'll be putting color around, and then we're bringing the smoke machine and all sorts of fun like that. So it should be quite cool. Right, let me just turn off B, C, and D. So now all I'm doing is now just feathering the octabox across, but I'm going to feather it a little bit more. And I'm going to put the projection right smack in front of Jean, so we get the shot right behind her. And then I'm going to shoot. Working with projection, you can just, because it's hard light, you can see exactly where the shadows are going to fall. So you just move your body around and just take the shot. How are those coming out? Question? Oh, see, tethering, live tethering is always fun and games. There you go. Now we should be back. So if you look at the images there, we got quite cool. You're doing a great job, Sean. So you can, I'll probably have to take those last few images again, just so they come through. So when working, I'm going to just repeat it again. So when working with the projection unit, it's all about angling. So if you want a bit of shadow in, you can angle across. If you don't, just line up with the model and make sure that she's lit and the background is lit. So it's just another example where you can actually use flash and consistent lights by just decorating your background. This long cable, my long tethering cable's got a mind of its own today. Okay, close-up shots. Just changing the angle. Look at me. Okay. And this 8400 Pro is sitting actually at 1/28th power. So, I mean, it's literally just not even under any strain or stress at all. Okay. Any questions around that one? I don't want to be blinded by that light. No questions? Cool. All right. So let's get on to the 5 light setup. So the 5, I'm just going to go on camera 2, Talia. I'm going to switch this one off. I'm going to change. So with the 5 light setup, I'm going to use the consistent light. So my stream manager is like nodding her head, and I don't know what she's on about. But anyway, these things happen. But what I'm going to be doing is switching on the smoke machine so it can warm up. That's what she's saying. Yeah, there you go. Sure, things happen on live. It's so funny. So we're going to actually use the consistent light with a beauty dish with a grid on. I'm going to use this as the key light. And then I'm going to use all the colored stuff with strobes, and they're going to be sitting also on low power. So we're going to have green, blue, and red. I think that was the colors we sort of decided on. And then we're going to take a couple of shots without the smoke machine, and then we'll take a couple with the smoke machine, using this as our key light and the other ones as our background and sort of fill lights. Okay. All right, so let me just move this one out the way. All right, gloves. Where is those gloves? Where did I put those things? Because this is extremely hot to take this whole thing off. Right. Any questions from anybody? Anything that you would like to see more of? Anybody? No. Okay. Just keep an eye on that, Talia. Right. So this is the projection unit that I use. I can't wait till the new ones come in, but this one is very cool. I've done lots of really, really cool stuff with it. I'm just going to put this down to cool down. All right. So I'm going to put a beauty dish. I'm going to use a small beauty dish, not a big one, because I don't have a grid for the big one. That's the only reason. So with a small 42 centimeter, this is what I'm going to put on here. And I'm basically going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to feather light across Jean-Marie's face and the the one thing that I've also got to get used to in studio is all these cables, because my ADs, I don't have RG batteries. All right. So do you want to just come forward a bit? Just going to feather just enough light. So normally also what I do is on a setup like this, I will set up each light individually and take a shot to make sure that I'm happy with it. And we're going to start firstly with the backlights. So I'm going to get my, I think this one's the blue. I'm going to turn this one into red. So I'm going to actually put this across on a boom. So I'm using the, can't remember the code of this one, but it came with the barn door setup for your 8300. So this is the one I'm going to use over the top. That's almost a backlight. Just tighten it. I've got my weight on the bottom here. It's not touching the ground, so I know that it's going to wait and not tip over the light. And then I'm going to lift this up in the air. Okay, just going to move this over a little bit. So this light's going to act basically as a sort of a backlight that comes on the top and just touch the top section of Jean-Marie's here. I haven't put a grid on this, so it's going to give me a little bit more spread, but you can put a grid on there if you just want to actually concentrate the light onto one sort of spot. Right. So firstly, I'm going to turn off the consistent light because I just want to get that backlight on. So I just want to see, I think it was B. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to take a shot just with the actual red. So Talia, just bring up the, so this is what our red light gives us. So as I said, this now is actually giving us a bit more spread. So it's hitting the shoulders. It's not actually being channeled just with a grid itself. So it just gives us a bit more. I think I like it. It's almost that nice red rim light. So I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do is add in the next light. Next light will actually be the green. I think I'm going to bring in the green. Now what I actually do is I normally get some of the sheets of gels and I actually cut them to size, and then I sort of double them up with the actual ones that come with the RD14s. So then I put the solid one on the outside and I just put the actual flexible gel sheet into the back and then clip it on. So that should give me a stronger green color, because I want to try and get very rich with these colors on this shot. I'm going to just lower it down a bit. Let's just get it there. Okay. Right. Let me turn on just the green one. I'm going to turn off the red light by holding long press down on my channel, and it goes off. And then I'm going to put on, I think this was C. So many light setups. Yeah, I got it right. So this is just going to give me the green. So if we can do the same pose, so we can just check each light as it. Just want to make sure I'm going to shoot it the same. Okay, so that one to me is a little bit bright. So I'm actually going to take that green light down to about 1/28 power, just to see. Okay, that's cool. And then just give me one where I just want the face, because I want to see how much light comes in on the face. Yeah. Happy with that. So I'm happy with the green. So we've got the green in place. So I've got the back red light, I've got the green light, and the next one is going to be D, which I'm going to set up. I'm going to do something that's probably going to break some rules here. I'm going to use an ADR14 actually on my AD400. I do it a lot of times. It works great. It does fit. It gives a bit of a more channeled beam, but it does actually work quite well. So I'm going to point it away from the background. Don't forget the spread of light out of these is also quite strong. So that's why you see, even though the green is actually coming away from the background, it spreads light out like this. You can flag things up, but I want them to mix in the back to give us a bit of an effect. Same arms, same pose. We're going to just put this one on. So I'm just going to test the blue light. And that is at 132. I might take that down to, let me go down to 128 power on the blue. Let's see what that gives me. Cool, I can live with that. So what I can do is, yeah, I'm fine with that. So what I normally do is I do set up which camera I'm on. So what I do is actually make sure, especially when I'm setting up multiple lights, I take a shot of each one. And by doing that, then I can see exactly where the light is going to be falling. And then from there, when I turn on all three, I'm not going to get any surprises, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the green and I'm going to turn on the red. So I'm going to take a shot without the key light just to make sure we've got some nice color mixing going on. Cool, so we got lots of funky color all over the place. I love it. Yes, that's cool. All right, so let's turn on the key light. Put some light into Jean-Marie. Now the reason I put a grid on, because it's got a beauty dish, it does spread quite a whack of light. And now I'm gonna have to drop this down a bit because you seem to have maybe got smaller heels on. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just try and feather the light across Jean-Marie there, but still try and maintain the actual color in the image as well. So let's test this one. I think we can go a little bit more into you. No, the smoke machine is, I haven't kicked it in, I'm setting the lights up. So I want to be happy with my key light. Already? Man, where does time go? I can't believe it. I'm happy. Okay, so I'm happy with this next one that's coming. All right. All right, so let's do what everyone's been waiting for. Oh, this is fun. All right, so don't be, I'm actually gonna studio door here because this smoke machine is not that quick dissipating smoke liquid. because I'm trying to finish this bottle of liquid before I get quick dissipating liquid. So now I've got the little remote control on my belt here. There we go. Just face into the light. Okay, let's put some more smoke in there. Let's get some. Okay. And the smoke is actually going to only be seen because we're lighting it up with color gels. Otherwise, if you didn't have any lighting up the smoke, you wouldn't really see it. So let's take another couple of, just face the key light there. Just turn your body this side. Okay, but you know what I'm going to give you? Okay, it's the ball, and we're going to have smoke. Any questions? Okay, just bring it more close to your body there. Okay, just sort of hold it out. That's it. Cool. Nice pose. I'm going to take a shot there. I'm going to give this some more smoke. And cool. Any questions coming in? Right, I'm going to give some more. Tethering. It always does it when the best shot comes through. Okay, not sure what happened there. StreamYard, just okay. So I'm just going to put some. Just look at me over here. Look at me over here. Cool. So I think any questions there? Is there any questions there? So that's using consistent light as your key light and using strobes to actually just fill in as fill, color, and everything. So you can mix the two lighting sources. Just put me onto the other camera here, Talia. And I'm just going to put the camera down as this smoke, as the smoke dissipates. So you can mix strobe and consistent lighting, and obviously you can add more consistent lights in. You can change your color temperatures on those as well, and just add some sort of drama and creativity and actually into your images. And using in the flash just as fill, because they're running on 1/28th power, and it just gives that nice color into the back. So if you want to start consistent lighting, you can get hold of one light and work with your strobes and work with your consistent lighting. Before you start building up your consistent lights, you can actually do it that way and still create some awesome creative images. So obviously any of the equipment and stuff that you will see that I've been using, you can get from godox.co.za. You can use my code, which is Godox Karl D. I think that'll be coming up across the bottom. Backgrounds and stuff like that, batteries and stuff, you can go to gpb.co.za and that is gpbatteries.co.za. And I've also got a code that you can get instant discounts there. And I think that's about it from my side. Any questions before we leave? Yes. And don't forget, on the 28th of April, we have the wedding workshop, which I think should be coming, all the details should be coming on the bottom of the screen with the venue, the dates, the times. Get online and book your spot for that awesome workshop. From one of the best in the industry, Lud is absolutely amazing at his wedding. He's highly ranked globally, and he's a brand ambassador at Godox SA. So get onto that workshop. You won't forget it. It's changed people's lives, and I know Sherwin has actually even mentioned that. After attending one of his workshops, it just elevated his wedding photography big time. And also, don't forget, F-Stop Live. I don't think there's one this Friday, but the following Friday, I'm sure there will be one, but you can get hold of the Godox Facebook channel or Facebook page and find out all the information there, or even sign up on the Godox WhatsApp channel and be instantly updated with everything that's going on at Godox SA. There is tons of stuff happening, and you don't want to miss out on some of the stuff that's coming up. But I think that's about it from me. If there's no other questions, if there is, you can drop them in the comments and I will get back to those questions. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.